Mm. Welcome everyone to the Marriage Counsel UK. Thanks for switching over. Thanks for joining us, Kojo. Thanks for joining us, Jordan, Gus. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves again. This is for the 10th time. You don't know what's been going on behind the scenes, for real. This is the 10th intro. We apologize for the delay. Here we are. We're just gonna flow. Mr. 91, please introduce yourself.
Guys, it's Little Black Book 91. I do relationship vlogs on YouTube where I talk about TV shows, mainly dating ones. I kind of break down what happens in terms of what's happening in the interactions, break down the psychology, and break down how it can be more healthy in our relationships. That's me.
Yeah, I've been watching you for years. It's all good, man.
My guy.
The Marriage Counsel UK, this is Mrriage UK. But we use this platform as well. This is the Marriage Counsel UK, where we go deeper into intricate topics. Some of the stuff you need to subscribe to, it's not all available to everyone, and it's going that deep. We have some real good specialists on this channel, on this platform, to help people through their relationship journeys. That's what we do. We do something similar to Kojo. We have these hard and deep conversations. Thank God. Look, man, I've been married for 19 and a half years. I got 3 kids. They give me grey hairs. My wife is keeping them darker. She's trying to make them darker, and the kids are making them more grey. So it's that balancing act, you know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to be here and just share. But actually, I came to learn from my friends. Yeah, for real. Though they are dating, they are Gus and Jewel, and I'm going to hop them up again after their intro. Guys, introduce yourselves, please.
Thank you, Curtis. My name is Gus. I'm 27. I am a theology student doing my master's at the moment. I do studying theology. I've also been a personal trainer for 6-7 years. So that's what I do. A lot of public speaking, preaching, and pastoral work in churches, youth groups, work with youth. And at the moment, based on what's happening, I'm finding myself speaking a lot about social justice, masculinity, femininity, but from the angle of what does the Bible say, and is it relevant to all of these things that's happening in the world? So that's kind of like my life at the moment.
Wow.
Cool. I'm Joelle. I'm his girlfriend. He asked me to join him on here to talk about our relationship. So here I am joining him in doing that. Professionally, I'm a HR practitioner specializing in diversity and inclusion. I'm really passionate about gender, sexuality, and how that works and functions in relationships today, and also in terms of like our general interactions in life, which can put me in a lot of trouble sometimes and cause some issues. But yeah, we're here today to discuss relationships and our relationship, whoever he thinks is relevant.
Right.
He was like, whoa, I mean.
Okay, so let me put some heat on you. Actually, I just want to say, before I put the heat on, I don't know you so much, Joel, but from how we've met recently, it's been great. But I do want to say, Gus he's an undercover guy. He's like a Jason Bourne, because he's actually really, he's not just educated. He knows his stuff. He's not a lightweight, especially when it comes to scripture and the way that we think about the world and theology and Bible. Gus is very sharp, but you might not get that through this show. But I'm letting you know, we're not here with lightweights.
Wait, Gus, you're gonna have that? No, are you gonna have that, bro? Man,
we are not here with lightweights.
Under the table punched you in your gut blood. You have to take him out after that, bro.
I gave him a compliment, though.
What? That was the most underhanded compliment I've ever heard in my entire life.
No.
Man said he might not be, right now, but you see. I said, what?
Because he's a hold it back kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You won't see him.
He holds it back. Have that, bro. You got to set him alight later on. Get him.
But Gus and I are mates, man, so it's not going to happen. You can't stir nothing up between us. but I want to thank you guys for coming on, because you guys are going to put it out there a little bit. We're going to have a discussion. This discussion, the question is, how much should I change for my partner? And in introduction, the question was asked on the other channel that we just left on Little Black Book. If you're getting with someone, how much should they accept you for who you are? Do you need to change who you are? And is it oppressive for someone to ask you to change certain things about you? So especially in the dating phase, I know that we're going to look at, because you guys are dating, we're going to look at this topic through the lens of your journey so far. Before we do that, now I'm going to get dirty just for a second. I want to ask Gus, what is your lady's favorite color?
Oh man!
Wow.
Send the man to the gallows.
You just said I don't know.
You don't
To
know
the
that.
gallows,
Bro, this will be a big shot. It's even weird that I don't know that.
You two ain't dating.
Oh, that's the most important thing, is it?
You don't know her color. You don't know her favorite number, bro. What you doing out here?
Come on. All right, Joel.
Why did you guess?
I couldn't
Do you
guess
think you
that.
can guess?
Green.
Just say pink, bro.
Is it green? No, I've not really seen much pink on her.
I thought she's a red. I thought she might be a red. You know, I'm
Red.
just guessing.
Red and white, maybe.
No, I'm not gonna whisper it.
She gonna come with that. I'm not a color at all. You know, I don't like colors at all.
I didn't like colours. I'm against colours.
My favorite color is baby blue.
See, I wasn't going to touch that.
Yeah,
Who said that?
like baby blue or like powdered blue.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Joel, what's Gus's favorite food?
He doesn't have one, but he likes to eat pizza a lot. Like if he's like happy or if he's achieved something, he's gonna want to eat a pizza.
That's another way of saying he's just greedy.
No, but he can eat a whole pizza. He can eat like 2 pizzas. If he's really like happy, he can eat 2 whole pizzas. Am I right in saying pizza?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll give up
Well
half of,
done.
yeah, definitely
Lady-
pizza.
He loves pizza.
Don't even take it personal, Gus. Women normally, pay attention to them things. They understand. Don't take it personal, bro.
God, no, that favorite color one. No, that was harsh. I've never told you that.
She never told me that.
Okay, so here we go. Are we live?
Yeah, you live.
Yeah. Live.
So you can't take that back, bro. You've got it wrong. So just to let you know, Gus.
It's done. Okay. so I guess to help everyone understand, like how long have you guys been together? We can answer that question first.
Since September last year,
August.
August last year,
August, yeah.
August last year.
Not long at all. Like
I've known her for
not long
forever.
at all.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a very long time.
All right, quickly tell us how you got together.
So we dated the year before for a while. How long? Like 6-8 months?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
we dated for a while. And then we split and dated other people. And then we got back together during when like quarantine rules sort of laxed out a bit and you could hang out with people outside.
Well done.
And it was like warm. So we started like going like I think what happened? We started interacting a lot more. So there was a point where we were not speaking, but we go to the same church kind of.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to see each other's names a lot, popping up on group chats and stuff. And I think for him it was a bit of like I was a bit out of sight, out of mind, and then I was no longer out of sight, out of mind. So he started popping up on me. And we just started hanging out again, and then we got together.
That sounds like the nicest story, but I think Gus has got a different version slightly because he started.
No, I mean, I'll probably say that's I'll say that's an accurate summary of what's
Yeah.
been happening.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard people have the same story, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Accurate.
Seriously.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Usually there's 2 different tales, man. You know what I mean? The woman's always saying it was like this, and the man's like, no, it really wasn't like that. But you got the same story, right?
I feel like I'm explaining it how he would explain it. I think that's why.
I think she generally like said what I would say.
Yeah. Especially the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. He's very like that. I forget about you very quickly.
Oh my days.
He's a man. Don't worry about it, bro. You're normal.
Okay.
Perfectly normal.
But yeah, that's how we got together.
And I guess the question is then, why are we? Because it was a suggestion from you. Because obviously I approached you guys to talk, but the question is, why is the topic of how much should I change something of importance to you both to discuss? What really raised that question? So you've been dating for 6 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Why would it be so important?
So for me, I think it was a thing where I had to challenge a lot of myself. I had to like do a lot of like, soul searching, look inside myself and asking myself, basically navigating this thing. If I just speak plainly, known Joel for so long, I've always liked her for a long time, even when we're kids. I kind of like, you kind of like them, but you get older and we used to like clash or like argue about stuff.
Really badly.
And we could argue.
That's love. That's love, by the way. That's love. That's a sign.
Like, it could be really good. And then we could just start having patches when we argue about stuff. And when we argue, it's quite strong.
Vicious.
Right?
Like,
and she's got a lot of venom, probably more than me.
Wow.
Right? But I've kind of like, as I've got older, I've started to kind of like have less venom and I kind of want to have things peaceful and calm. So when tension happens, it hits me quite hard. But she looks like she's just like, oh, we won't even argue. Like, we're just discussing things. So that was to get me. So I'm like burning. And I look over to her and it feels as if like, she's like, we just had a chat.
Why are you so sensitive? Like,
I thought, these are the sort of things that were going through my head, innit? But I think for me, it's one thing where it's kind of like, I knew I liked her, how she looked, who she is. But when the argument starts, it's like everything is ruined. So I went through this whole mental process of like thinking, like the first time we dated, I thought to myself, I think I've tried enough and this is done. Like this can't work. And then you've also got people telling you can't have it all. If you like how she looks and she's very beautiful, there's other things that have to give. So for me, I literally thought logically, this is what's happening, it's done. But I think as time's gone on and I've dated other people, and it's kind of like your heart is still somewhere there. Like your heart is still there and it's like my mind doesn't let it go. And I always feel as if, no, maybe this can change. So I think I went through a whole process where I thought, let me stop looking at and blaming her for things. Let me actually ask myself, is there anything I can do to make it work? And when I went through that question, everything changed. And I think that's what allowed us to get back to dating how we are now. But I actually made it to be the most meaningful and best space I've been in, period. Because I felt as if I've managed to do something that people generally say you can't have.
What are they saying you can't have?
Like, if she's really good looking, something has to give. Therefore, like the arguments come with it, just take the arguments. But then after going through this question or trying to figure out how to navigate it, I realized so many things. And I felt as if it opened up my eyes to a whole other world of how things can work and how things should work. But many people kind of don't go through this process, I feel, because they feel as if everyone comes in saying, I am who I am. And she says, I am who I am. And everyone sees it as that person has to do something to make it work. But not many people really ask themselves, what am I willing to rid of myself to make it work? So when you have a lot of these narratives in the world where people are saying, just be you, and the person who finds you and accepts you for you, that's the one. The reality is there's many things that's wrong with a lot of us. So there's always going to be something, in my opinion, which I think needs to change. And I never really hold on to this narrative of, I am who I am, so take me. I see it as I am who I am now based on my past experiences, but I'm the one who's chiseling myself away and choosing who I should be and who I should become. So you can't just hold on to this is who I am. Society, your family, different experiences have made you that way. So you have to choose, who do I want to be? And when I start to look at that angle, I realize things have to change. Things I even held dearly and I thought was me, I realize it's not me. It's just who I have become based on my experiences with other things and other people.
Joe,
Interesting.
told you.
Why?
Didn't I say he's a killer? He's a little bit of a killer.
He's a killer.
Really?
I'm not a killer.
A killer who doesn't know the colors. I hear you.
This guy won't let me go. Can we mute his mic?
I could have told you it was light blue from time. Come on.
You can see it on me. You can see it.
So,
yeah.
Jewel, what do you think is so important about the need to look at the topic of changing oneself for a relationship?
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I definitely had a very similar attitude to him. So I don't know how deep you'd like to go into this, but when we first dated, his main thing was the way in which we argued. And from my environment, someone raising their voice was just they're passionate about something. It didn't necessarily mean it had anything to do with me and what I had done. It wasn't disrespectful to me. It was like, this person's emotional. That's all it meant. So when he would react really, really badly to me raising my voice, it to me meant that he didn't care about how I felt. So he didn't care about how I was expressing myself, or the fact that the reason I'm doing this is because I feel emotional or because I feel hurt. But for him, he saw it as a thing where it reminded him of something that he didn't want to identify with anymore. And it was then projected onto me. And I saw that as, that's your problem, which now I know is not the right way to think. I shouldn't expect someone to take me as what I am, especially if I'm triggering them. Like, I'm emotionally triggering them with my behavior, a behavior that doesn't actually mean much, really, when it actually comes down to it. But I think the difference between me and him was he made the active choice to change, while with me, it was more so I started mirroring his behavior. So when he made the active choice to change in my favor, I automatically started moving in accordance to the way that he moved.
Now, was that an agreement or was that something natural?
That was natural. And it really made me think, because I've always been someone that's quite defiant against the whole idea of leadership, male leadership. Like, very defiant about it. But this is the first time ever that I felt led, and it's also led me to change as well. So it's an interesting thing for me, because at the end of the day, him doing things in accordance to the way that I best relate and I best understand things has made me, in some respect, I would say, a more submissive person. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw sides of her, which, if I'm honest, in the beginning, I didn't really think she would go down that kind of slope heavily. But when it started to come out, it's also been like an eye opener for me, because I didn't really know. There was nothing guaranteeing that this is the response.
Yeah.
It's just something which I thought needed to be done, and her response was something which I couldn't have really foresaw, like so much.
I think the whole idea of loving someone first for who they are, and not expecting things back. I don't think he expected me to change. That's what was interesting about it. Did you?
This was a journey, man. So I think there's a lot of things, if I'm honest with you, in the very beginning, I've had to fight a lot of what society has put into my mind.
Wow.
And if I'm honest, there's parts about me which, like, society, like, you know, might tell you, be like this, go like this. This is the ideal space. This is not an ideal space. So I think in the beginning, I think she must have found me quite irritating in terms of, I don't want people to think like this or to see us to be in a certain way. But I had to get to a point when I realized, what do I want? What is my vision? At the end of the day, this is my life. This is my vision, my relationship. And I simply just thought, okay, we need to work through this. And I need to sometimes, like, I don't know, like, act and cover some things up. But I realized, really, I had to come to a point when I simply said, I am a broken person. I'm not full. I'm not complete. She's going to be a broken person. She's not full. She's not complete. And we're simply going to have to work through this and make ourselves complete. And that was difficult.
Not necessarily, I would say, becoming complete in each other.
No.
But just sort of this whole idea of you can better yourself while you're with another person.
Come on now.
You don't necessarily need to be separate and alone in order to reflect. Because in actuality, what has happened is we've started to reflect each other. So when I start to see my characteristics in him, and I'm like, I don't like that.
So what characteristics was that then?
So
let's go there. Come on.
So like the one instant where I genuinely can only remember it happening once, where he sort of jumped up at me. So he got annoyed and jumped and like stood up to kind of present himself as dominant and using his body language to show me that he's annoyed at what I'm saying. It made me think about him telling me that when we have arguments, my main issue with you is the way that you move your body. And it's like, while me being in a relationship with him allowed for me to see when he reacts in that way to me, and even if it's occasional, I really don't like it. Genuinely really don't like it. I don't like, why are you making yourself big? I don't understand why you're doing that. So for me, that made me think again and think, okay, so when he told me, oh, he doesn't like it that I purposely will sit myself up straight and I'll be looking at him really direct in the eye, like it's very like basically challenging him. It doesn't make him feel good. He doesn't feel like I'm loving him in that moment. I was able to learn that by observing him rather than actually observing myself. I wouldn't have seen that by myself. Absolutely not. I've just seen that I'm being assertive.
And this is the thing, Curtis, right? This is the thing. And Kojo, because I think the interesting thing which I've said to Joel over and over is this thing about change. I've been so passionate about it because when I was young, people who know me from secondary school will know me as a fighter, intimidator. Nobody will pick on me in school ever because it's like, if you fight me, there's just no way out where I am losing or I'm getting hurt or anything like that. I went to a really rough school. I just grew up as an angry kid. So I managed to look within myself and be like, Gus, you need to change this. This is not good for you. This is not you. This is something that you had to be in a certain time, but it's not me. So when I see people who like are like expressing themselves massively and making themselves big, as you would say, I look at you and I'm like, this is not you. This is something which you can change. But I feel as if a lot of people see it as, oh, I'm just like this. You just have to take it. Yeah. So I learned to really subdue these kind of emotions and change how I express myself. And then I realized you cannot demand this from the person you're dating. You can't just demand and say, minimize yourself. You have to be ready to be quiet and allow them to be big and just go through that and endure it until, like, there's no guarantee that they'll become like you. But because I believe that this is the kind of relationship I'd want, then that's just what I would do. And over time, she just started to mirror me. And that's what switched up my mind in terms of what leadership was. Because growing up, I've been thinking that leadership is come in there, state your claim, tell somebody what they need to do, how they need to be, respect me, respect me, respect me. But I realized if you want submission in your dating life or relationship or marriage, you have to be submissive. Forget about the patriarchal, I'm the man. You have to submit yourself. And that's when I started to realize the practicality of the Bible. When I became what I expect to see from her, she naturally just started to also change, but didn't actually ask her to change. She just started to do it.
Kojo.
What you want? Don't come around the sides, boy.
Bro, I'd like you to give an analysis of what you've read so far.
Do you know what? It's so interesting because... Do you know why I say it's interesting? Because as I was hearing them talk, I really think it takes a self-reflective person for this to work. Because what both Gus and Joe are talking about, I think many people might have, let's say for instance, when Gus decided to mirror, this can go horribly wrong. You go and do it and it becomes tit for tat. But it was a self-reflective person in Joe that was like, hold on a minute, no, I don't like this. And actually then she began to change that behavior. So I really feel like it takes a self-reflective person who's on job, who's able to slow themselves down and not use what Gus did where he submitted himself to not take advantage. Because if you're not in that place and that mindset to be able to see that, I really think that it can go the opposite way, which is that the person just continues onwards that road. Do you know what I mean? There was not, because what he did was the right thing to do. I see that he tried to go with the submission route, which is to to show her that, listen, and this is what Christ would do as well. So we're talking about Christ, this is what Christ would do. He would show you in his actions, hey, this is the way to go. But when we're dealing with human beings, unless that person is self-reflective, that person may not see what you're doing and actually take it the opposite way. So I loved what they did, because I think what Gus did is something I would do. And if you're with the right person and they're self-reflective, this works. This is a hands down gonna work, because she once she saw the behavior, she said, "Oh wow, okay, this is not it. This is not the juice." You know what I mean? But someone else sees that and goes, "Okay, let's go for war." Because what she was saying was that, and you guys know I talk about the psychology stuff, is when she was seeing the leadership, at first it was, hold on a minute, it's not me. I'm about to show you what it can be done. You understand? That's what she said. Her body language will show it. And what Gus was talking about is that when he's seeing her body shift into this position, it's a challenge. Psychologically, what's been happening is that she's actually challenging his masculinity. That's war. That's pride. That's ego. And I can see how that can turn into a madness. But the fact is, she decided at that point, I'm going to self-reflect and I'm going to slow it down. So for me, I loved it. Do you know what I mean? Get the wrong person, you won't love it.
You know, I guess this is where power can come into it as well, because Joe, you could have seen it. Is that where assessing you like you're in the therapy chair? It's okay. It's okay.
Jules is cool. I like Jules.
what you could do, you could have seen that reaction and then felt the need to assert yourself above that and not learn. So the truth is, in my opinion, you guys, what you're saying and what you've done is a powerful learning curve for married couples.
Yep.
To not react in offense first, but to say, hold on, what's going on here? Just to ask the question. And I think that's a powerful thing. I want to know, though, between you both, Gus mentioned leadership. I'm asking you first, Joel, what is leadership to you from your man?
I think for me, one thing that Gus does, which I highly appreciate, and I think I said recently, is everything with him is very we. I'm a very I person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. If you want help with what you're doing, I'll help you. I say, I need to go to the doctor. He says, okay, when are we going to book the appointment? Like, it's very, everything with him is very much like all of my stuff is his. He doesn't necessarily put it on me for me to do that for him, but he definitely takes on my stuff. So if I for example, am starting an initiative called Amplify, he will do anything that he can in order to help me do it. I try and help him out as well with stuff, but the way that he does it is a lot more natural than maybe it is with me, and it's very much reflective in his language. And I don't even think when I mentioned it to you, you didn't even realize that you were doing it.
I mean, no, I didn't, because I couldn't really recall these words. So when she told me, I was like, okay.
Like everything is we. Everything is okay. How are we going to do that? How are we going to achieve that? What do we need to do in order to get there? And I wasn't used to that, and that to me felt like he was leading me, because he was willing to help me in every way possible, and he saw that my challenges were his challenges. I think also being somebody who listened very attentively and automatically would always come with solutions. That to me again was reflective of leadership. In terms of like what we actually do, I feel like I decide what we do, like if we're going somewhere or whatever, but he doesn't really care about that stuff.
Actually, you think you are making the decisions, but Gus has allowed you to think that you're in control. You don't understand how deep this is.
Powerful mind control.
Maybe that's what it is. But either way, there's certain things that I would actually like for him to take more control in, and he doesn't. He doesn't want to do it, which is fair.
He's like me, laid back.
When it comes to certain things. And I think the fact that he's also very active in learning, in hearing what I've got to say about stuff, and being like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. and then really going and researching and doing more and learning more about it. That to me is someone that wants the best for the relationship and therefore is leading it in the right direction.
You know what's interesting about your answer? Is that when I asked you about what leadership is, your answer was basically all his strong points. I think that's one of the deepest things I've ever heard. Me personally, who am I? But
What makes you say that? Why is that a deep thing for you?
Because leadership usually has connotations of strength, taking charge, assertiveness. But I've heard the opposite. And it's not that Gus is weak at all. Don't think that for 1 second, because actually, you're using a different currency. You're using a currency that matters. And so we can all, you come from a tough background, we can all use muscle, we can all use a loud voice. But what she has described as leadership is actually your strong points. And I'm just like, you've shed a new light on it for me. It's not that I didn't know it before, but to hear it is something else. What I'm seeing tonight from you both is something that I dream and write about these things. You guys are living it.
They both like, wait, what? Us too? We're just here living life, bros.
It's deep. So I guess, Gus, what is leadership to you?
So like you said, I used to think leadership in the sense of be in control, take charge, because that's what you're told. That's what a man is from when you're young. Your boys tell you that. Your parents maybe indirectly teach you that. Society definitely tells you that. Grab life by the horns. But I think one thing I kind of start to see was that there's a key text in the Bible which says, without a vision, people perish. Where there is no vision, people perish. So when you have a vision, I had this thing in my mind of somebody going on a journey or somebody going to war, and you need to take some tools with you. And these tools, you pick the tools that you need to make your vision happen. So if you're going to war, you're not just going to take sandals, sliders. You're going to take the boots because you think the boots will work. I'm going to take this gun because this gun works. So I kind of thought to myself, if I want a peaceful relationship, peaceful marriage, beautiful marriage, you can't use force to make that happen. That's not the right tool. The force is going to breed more force in some sort of way. That was my thinking. So I thought to myself, I'm going on this journey. If I want peace, I need to bring the peace. If I want submissiveness, I have to bring submissiveness, tools like that, because that's the only way I feel as if my vision can happen. So I can't come in and start domineering things and commanding things. I have to come in with a mindset that's thinking, okay, how can I submit? How can I teach? How can I love? How can I understand? How can I be patient? And even if I feel angered and I feel like I'm right about something, if I feel as if winning this argument is not important, I will not try to win the argument. Because ultimately I can win the argument, but I've lost the peace. And peace is actually my goal, not winning the argument. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to be peaceful and be loving. So I feel as if when people focus on I need to be right, I need to get my point across. Sure, get your point across. But what's the cost of you getting that point across?
The cost.
The cost is against your vision. So I realized to myself that, if that's my vision, I need to work it and I need to strip myself of what I've learned. Because even biblically, a lot of things have been taught in a patriarchal sense, even in the church. I'll have to be plain. Wives, submit to your husbands. That kind of narrative has played in people's minds to feel as if I am the man. And if I'm submitting to my wife, I'm actually being beta. And there's something innately wrong about this. Because this is what God told us to do. God made me the head, and the head of the household means I am leading and dragging the family with me into my vision. But I realized that's not the way. In the beginning, God made Adam and Eve, and it says, let them rule. So both of you are equals and both of you are going somewhere and you're working together. So that's the kind of image I want to breed. So I thought, hey, leadership, sometimes I have to recognize she's smarter than me. She's more knowledgeable than me. She's wiser than me in some situations. And leadership means sit back and let the person who's better do that aspect. Forget about the social standards of women do this and men do that. What do you need? And when you realize that, you realize in your relationship, it's like a fingerprint. Everything is unique. She's the leader in places where some women will not lead, but I'm okay with that because it works with our vision.
My guy.
Yeah,
Gus is my kind of guy. Gus is my kind of guy. Yeah. Preach it, sir.
That's the way I see it, to be honest. That's just what I think. In terms of management in a company, you want your company to go far, or do you want your name to be big? If you want your name to be big, you'll do every job, whether you're good at it or not. If you want your company to go far, you get the best employees to do the work, even if it's management level, purely because you recognize they're better than you. So go for that. So I'm not afraid to learn from her, and I've learned a lot. But I had to rid myself of that patriarchal understanding of I am actually superior because I'm a male.
Boy.
Let me test you.
My guy Gus, you know.
Let me test you. Jewel, can Gus cook?
Yeah, he can cook.
Does he cook for you?
He hasn't actually. But
I told you he's my guy. I told you he's my guy. That's the kind of I can cook, but I don't need to cook for you. I ain't cook for you yet. You know what I mean?
No, I can know he can cook because he cooks for himself. Like he can feed himself.
Gus, this leads me on to my next question.
Go on.
Oh Lord.
What?
I'm actually baffed. I don't know.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a setup. It is what it is.
I'm hearing the boss coming.
Yeah, man. What in you? This is a very heavy question. What in you needs to change now?
What in me needs to? Oh, okay. This is a work in progress. So one thing which has continuously I've been working on, I'm still working on it because I realize this is a big mission, is innately, I like to argue. Innately, I like to be right. Even if I know somebody else is smarter or maybe they're putting up a stronger argument, I feel this overwhelming feeling to battle things. And I'm still learning to sit down and listening to her speak and simply saying nothing. Not saying nothing in terms of I'm ignoring her, but literally telling myself, learn. Listen like a student and learn. Take it in. Think about what
Shut up kind of thing.
Yeah, because I'm literally thinking to myself, I want to deeply disagree.
Yeah.
Or I want to deeply or aggressively shut something down. But it's a big thing. But you realize it's part of self-control. It's part of self-control. I can't embrace it and hold on to say it's me. It's something which is not me, and I'm trying to change it so I can become who I want to be. But another thing that needs to change, I'd probably say, is things which she's told me she'd like me to change. But these are not things. So I've generally been quite friendly. I'm quite a friendly person. I'm a friendly person in general.
You, bro.
I'm a friendly person in general.
Hold on. I don't want anyone to blow themselves up on this channel. So, are you good to talk?
No. In the sense of like, I just now all of this heat is coming up because me.
Careful. Don't let me
look at your partner first. Look at your partner first before you make the statement.
You're fine.
Give him the eyebrow. If he's going too far, just give him the eyebrow. Just let him know that he's going past the line. You know what I mean?
The elbow, like just this. All right, cool.
No, so generally, like working in the pastoral setting.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where I came with the mindset of, you're everybody's friend.
Yeah.
Come in with a smiley face, talk to everybody. If somebody needs something, talk to them. Let hear what they're saying. But some things which you realize that yes, that is a good thing, to be friendly, to be positive, to be open. But at the same time, I have to realize that as friendly as I am, I need to take perspective and look at things from another angle. She has an angle which I can't see and I've never seen. So she comes to me and she's like, okay, you're a friendly guy, you're open guy, but there's ways that we should also move in terms of just protecting how she might want things to look, how she might want to feel, and her emotions and how she perceives things. I have to alter and work within not just my mindset to be like, listen, this is what I need to do, therefore I'm going to go and do it. You need to adjust to me. I need to consider the way that she feels about things. So even if she feels a certain way about something and I don't see nothing wrong, I do not push it forward. it's something which I'm willing to let go of for the sake of us having our space and our environment. That's just something which I think I'm still also working on, because you realize that's just how life goes. I can't hold on to it if I know she might feel a certain way about some certain things.
It's powerful. It's powerful what you're saying, because honestly, I've made a similar mistake, same nature of mistake, when you're working in some type of ministry. As a man, we're surrounded by women for the most part, and it's not whether you're doing something wrong, bro.
What?
Sorry. It's your face,
sorry, it was on my face. My bad. Let me fix it.
You're surrounded by women, whether you're in therapy, counseling, or whatever. But it's not about whether you're doing something wrong. It's also about how the other person feels. And I can say that the damage can be quite heavy if one isn't conscious of it or doesn't listen to your partner. And you're on the right track, man. It's powerful what you're saying. Kojo, you smiling at me, bro.
Huh?
You had that guilty face, or something was going on, man.
No, because Gus was just talking the realist right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's absolutely right. And it's interesting because I think obviously again, it takes a certain type though of person to be able to do what Gus is talking about. Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm hearing him speak, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's spitting absolute facts. But it takes somebody who, again, I want to say that word, self-reflective, and that person who's also in tune with allowing themselves to bend. And not everyone is at that place where they're bendable. And this is the key thing. And I guess my question is even to ask, how long do you wait if the person's not bendable? Because what he's talking about is that he's bending and she's bent too. So that's fine. But how long? What if you get someone who's not willing to bend? Because the things that he's described, for instance, even let's say the ministry, okay, and I say this because obviously what I've experienced in life. So if you're a ministry, you have to be a people person. What if your partner is not that way though? You know what I mean? What if, again, that's what I'm putting that other side of it. What if they're not that way? What if they're completely other and it's just their particular way of looking at things? How do you compromise and get to that final line? You know what I'm saying? So I guess obviously, both people are bending, so it's fine. You're finding your compromises within the bending. But what happens if both people don't want to bend? That's my question. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was smiling. I was like, what happens if people don't want to bend? Because I'm like Gus, I'm argumentative as well. I like a debate. I like a strong debate. You know what I mean? Sure. So, what happens if I can ask? Yeah.
I tell you what, if we can ask that question after the question can be asked to Jewel as well.
Oh, go on. What's the question?
So the question was, what is changing and or what needs to change in your side of the fence?
So something that's come up recently is him saying that I punish. So when I'm upset with something or I don't think something's gone very well between us, I do things that hurt him. So that might sound really dramatic, but it's more like not talking to him, or shutting myself down. And when I do that for him, it feels like not like we just had an argument, like I'm doing something purposefully to hurt him, which obviously, no matter what, the argument didn't start because someone was purposely trying to do something to hurt someone. So that's not what actually started the argument. So I think one thing that I need to work on is my very innate, I do think it's innate, because you can see it on my face, can't you? Like this feeling.
You can see where the storm is brewing.
Of almost like revenge.
Yeah.
And he'll look at me and he'll be like, "You're plotting your revenge." Like,
and the funny thing is this, yeah. I'll ask her, "Is anything wrong?" She's like, "No."
No, this is it. This is it.
Yeah. And it genuinely is vengeful. Like it's not necessarily a thing of like I'm gonna do like this really horrible thing to him, but I acknowledge that in that moment I'm trying to make him feel bad. I could communicate in a way that doesn't make him feel as bad in this situation, because the likelihood is he didn't actually mean to do whatever he did. So I need to look at it like somebody that did not mean to do what they did. You don't punish people severely for things that they didn't mean to do, especially when they've apologized for it already, or that wasn't their intention. And I think sometimes with women, and it's a generalization, a massive generalization, but with women, men can sometimes touch on things that they don't realize that day is sensitive. So you can't punish for someone for something that you feel that is solely within your head, solely within what how you are perceiving the world that day. Like, you genuinely can't do that to somebody.
Just a sermon.
Yeah. So I think with that, if I acknowledge the fact that he loves me, I'm like, okay, he loves me. That means he didn't do it on purpose. So don't punish him for it. He's already said sorry. Get over it. Move on. Do what you need to do. There's no point sort of sitting there and trying to make him feel bad about stuff. So that's definitely something that I need to change. I don't think it's something that I'm like, it's not changed yet.
It's no, but it's one of the things where it's moving. It's moving in a certain way, because one thing I'd say is that we are finding, I think, a bit more of a middle ground. Not fully, but a bit more of a middle ground in the sense of when we argue, she's more likely to shut down. But the thing she finds annoying about me is that I'm much more of a like, okay, let's hug it out.
Ugh.
So it's like you want to hug, and that's the way you feel like I want to deal with this. But she wants to be away. So if she pushes me away, I've had to learn to realize this is accept how she deals with things and not force her to change. I just have to go home, hug myself, and realize she doesn't hate you.
Yeah.
This is just how she deals with it.
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that, I feel as if I've aggravated her less and we deal with conflicts a lot better.
Yeah.
And she's actually responding quicker to get the conversations moving again. You get to the hugging again. So I feel as if you kind of, it's still a journey of meeting somewhere halfway, but understanding that you need to give people their space, and that's fine.
I think also on my side, acknowledging that him giving me my space is somewhat hurting him. I need to I actually think actively, okay, work through this quickly so that you don't need to feel this space anymore, because this is not naturally how he wants to react. So acknowledge that and do something about it so that you can get to a place of peace quicker than you would have originally. Because I can make someone mull all night. Genuinely, like, you would not sleep. I will sleep very peacefully. You can be up all night. It doesn't matter. But it's something that when you realize that somebody really, really cares for you and has shown you that repetitively, you have to, I think you have to give up some of that stuff. It's unnecessary. It doesn't bring anyone any joy. Just wrinkles. We all want good skin out here. Just wrinkles and tears.
Can I just add as well? What Jules is saying is what I'm saying about this. The difference between madness and a good working relationship is the fact she's self-reflective. If she's not self-reflective, this does not work. Hands down.
What do you mean by self-reflective?
Every time she mentions something, she says, okay, this is something I'm working on. I can see that there's some things that I'm doing that she's looking at herself and saying there's some parts of me, okay, cool, I'm trying to work on this part, working that part. When the person can see that, you can work it. When the person cannot see that, you're dead. You are dead to rights. Because what she's explaining is, okay, and as he's explaining, so there's parts of me that I need to change. That's fine. As we're rubbing against one another, we're seeing that, okay, my things are not really working as well in this particular situation. And there's growth. But when there's a situation when there's a man or a woman and they refuse to look inwardly, that ends in death, because the person will be trying to change all the while, and that person's not changing at all. That person's going to stay where they are. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's so beautiful. When I hear Jules speak, she's not just saying, "Oh, yeah, this is how I am," and I'm sticking to it. She goes, I'm looking at some things. I'm looking at. Oh, okay, cool. You know what? I'm working on it. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. And for me, listening to me, that's amazing. That means you are even further along. You know, the change is coming, but the fact is, you've seen that there's need for change. That's all we need. I can work with that. You know what I mean? But if the person goes, yeah, it's how I am, I don't know why you're complaining. You know how I am. You should learn how to bend. Then you are dead, because all that will happen is the person will keep taking advantage of the situation. You will bend, and you'll bend until you crack. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm loving what she's saying because she's making that clear distinction. I'm looking at my own behaviors and seeing it, and then I'm trying to assess it. That's quintessential.
This leads on to your question that you asked earlier. How long do I wait? Because, and I'm not going to answer the question as such. I'm just going to put this point on it. I feel sorry for people when their standards are so high because they don't allow for the process. They want their final product. I mean, what you guys are doing is a work in progress, and I hear grace, which is the most powerful tool in the box of relationships, to say allow you to go through your change. So some of us now will get married and stuff comes up that we're not aware of, or we will date for a number of years and there's an issue that we're not even scratching the surface on. How long are you going to, or what do you guys suggest on how long we should bear with someone who just doesn't see that they're wrong or that they need to change that thing? How long do you think you should wait for that?
I think there's quite.
What do we need to consider? Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ways you can look at this. So some of the things that are going through my mind right now is, I'd always say, consider the amount of time you have available. Consider where you are in your life, what you're planning to do. So if you're younger, I feel as if when you're younger, there's always time to see things through a bit more and to look deeper into things, purely because there's less risk. But I think when you get older, generally, my thing that I've learned massively, even from dating other people, is the vetting process is crucial.
Yeah.
Take your time and enjoy the vetting process where you have not told somebody that, you're my special one, we're together. I'm trying to leave all that sweet stuff for a second and take time to have open eyes to literally just look and try and figure out, who is this person? Like, what is it that, what is really important to me for somebody to have? What is not so important? And then analyze that person and try and listen to what they're saying and see, are they just bluffing? Is this a reality? How true is what they're saying? Try and analyze that. When you can see something, take more of a step forward towards more commitment, talk about it, communicate. The key thing I think is massive communication and try and build a space of vulnerability. And I guess that's where it comes back to leadership. Share something vulnerable about you in terms of, I'm working on this. Where are you? I think that would encourage them to put down the guard and tell you reality. This is where I am. And I think based on what they say, you'll be able to see, this might take forever. This is something which can maybe change over time, or maybe this is just who you actually are. These are some of the things that I see, but I think ultimately the mindset that I took in this situation, instead of talking hypothetically, was Jo's been my friend for a long time. I've got to see her in a neutral setting, so I just know who she is at heart. Nothing is guaranteed. That's a reality I have to take in my mind and accept. Everybody has to take that. Nothing's guaranteed. You are just simply gonna love, not to get a response, but you're gonna love. So I just looked at her and I thought, looks, tick, and all the other issues that are necessarily there in terms of where we disagree. I just thought to myself, how am I willing to deal with this? I'm not going to force her to change. How much am I willing to bend? And I think that's what lets me know when I should have gone or if not to go. If I'm not willing to bend to any of this, don't stay in hope. Just cut yourself short and know that you don't have the capacity. That's the easiest way I'd probably say I worked through this to realize how long to stay. I looked at the situation and I told myself, if these things never change, can I still love her to the maximum capacity? I think so.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, let me go forward. But there's been situations when I've looked at something, and even after a couple of months of dating, I thought, Gus, how much can you handle this? And I thought, I don't know. And I said, that's it. Just you can't wait 2-3 years, keep asking the same question. If you don't know, that's probably the sign.
Yeah. But that's what dating's for, isn't it? And I think it's odd with dating. We create these mini marriages, and it's very unnecessary. Extremely unnecessary. Stop acting like you're married to somebody that your boyfriend.
Yeah.
What's boyfriend?
Period.
And he hates it when I say that. And I'm like, what?
Especially if they're not cooking for you, man.
But like at the end of the day, the dating process is to figure out a person. Yeah. That's why you're not together. That's why, like, you don't live together. Well, you're in some context. That's why you're figuring out each other. You're trying to see, are we compatible? If this person is just giving you stress constantly,
get out.
Go away. And that's what he did. And when we first dated, I was giving him stress. He done to me. That's what. That's it. That was it.
Yeah, that's it. Simple.
And it's not like at the end of the day, and I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna talk about this because it just sounds like a massive L for me. But like that was the situation. He felt like no matter what, we just kept arguing. Yeah, he could have maybe dealt with it in a different way. He could have tried to revisit it. But for him, he didn't have that capacity at that time. It's okay for you to leave that situation. Yeah. And move on with your life, date other people, enjoy yourself. Because life at the end of the day is too short for you to. I honestly think if we didn't end it then, I don't think we would be together now.
Because I think the tools that I learned from dating in between is what made me be able to have the skills to work how we are working now.
Yeah.
So I think if you're gonna leave a situation, don't leave and still be looking, waiting and hoping. You need to actually leave and go and live your life. And if it comes back, then it comes back.
And in that situation, I became extremely chilled out. Like, we stopped dating, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna enjoy my life. I'm gonna date, have fun. It's whatever. And dating became very like I don't want to say it wasn't a serious thing because I was still dating for marriage, but it was a thing where I was just observing people. I was just seeing, what are you like? How do you treat me?
That's a massive one.
And I became a lot more chilled out. So even when he popped his head up again and he was like, let's hang out again, I was just observing. I was observing him. It made me very, very chilled out, which I think gave him the space to figure me out. Because I didn't it was at a point where I didn't care whether he liked me or not. I wasn't trying to get a boyfriend. I wasn't trying to get a husband. I was just enjoying my summer.
Summer's real.
And he was there like, can I marry this girl? Can I not? And I'm just being me because I'm just enjoying myself. And I think for a lot of women, it's unfortunate because, and whether you want to say that we were cursed in Eden or whatever, I don't know if that's correct theology or whatever. I don't know. But in the sense of a lot of women have this very strong desire to be married.
Yeah.
And it means a lot of girls, I'm saying this recently, a lot of girls don't like their boyfriends. A lot of women don't like
marry.
Wow. To marry. This is a topic, man. This is a topic.
Right.
All you have to do is look across. The congregation.
See who's sitting together.
We know what friendship looks like.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
You lot are killing me right now.
Everybody does. You can't say that this is my best friend at home. How?
You don't like each other.
You don't like each other. You can see friendship. Friendship can never be hidden. That's the one thing you can't hide. If she's your friend, she's your friend. If she's not, everybody can see.
100%. And I think for me, in that period, I was just enjoying myself. I was hanging out with my friend. I was dating other people as well at that time. We were seeing other people talking. I told him straight.
She did.
So I'm talking to other people. I'm enjoying my life. I'm a young girl, my baby girl.
Baby girl.
So with him, I think that also gave him the space to actually consider, do I like this girl? Do I really want to be with her? Because now she's seeing all the people.
She's making it difficult. She made it mad difficult.
And he can't just play around with it. So he had to decide. And then when he decided, I said, okay, that's fine. Let me observe. Let me look at the cards. Let's see who's in front of me and figure that out. And I think for a lot of women, and this is not a rule. It's not a rule at all. But I think girls need to start realizing that this world will play you. So stop putting all your eggs in one basket so quickly without this person showing you anything.
Yeah.
We're going to get you back on the show. We're going to get you back on the show.
I told you I liked you. Didn't I tell you?
We're going to get you back on the show.
I told you I liked you.
Like,
no.
It's real because I spent, I think, the first weeks or probably even till not too long ago, feeling like this girl is not in love with me. She's not enamored by me. Like, it's like that infatuation stage. It's like it was cancelled from the very beginning of the relationship. I felt like I was being interviewed by her, and she made it clear I couldn't say anything to convince her. It was literally a thing of just like, I'll talk and she'd be like, okay, we will see. Based on your action, based over time, we will see. It's not like, you can't tell me anything. So I think that's just something which I realized why I back her comment, in the sense of you can't just take somebody's words. And a lot of people do that.
Falling in love over talking stage. Talking. A lot of people fall in love in quarantine, you know, in their homes.
And the scary thing is that as long as we've known each other, she still felt the need to go through this whole vetting process.
Yeah.
And I've known her for years. So you can imagine how much more scary and dangerous it is for you, who just met somebody last week.
Yeah.
What do you actually know?
You know what this is? This is the definition of a strong black man and a strong black woman. Let me explain what that means. We've just gone over time, but let's go there very briefly.
Go for it.
It means leadership and strength comes by being the very thing you want your partner to be. From Gus's position.
Yeah.
And from Jules' position, it was not putting her feelings before the reality. You know, and so what you didn't do is you didn't make an emotional decision. Now that's a skill that you're probably born with, but it's something that everybody needs to exercise. No?
I wasn't born with it. No way.
But you exercise. It. You exercise it. What you didn't do, in the case of Gus, you didn't allow your feelings to say, well, no, I love him, or I want this and I want that from him, or I want a boyfriend. You didn't get that before the principle. But hey, you've changed or you've learned. Listen, that is the definition of a strong black woman. To not get that deep before making sure that certain things are in place, because you wouldn't be on this live now, you wouldn't be with him, and you wouldn't be telling this story.
Yeah.
Hopefully you take it as a compliment.
No, I do. But it's interesting because I just think about how emotionally driven I've been before. And in a past relationship, genuinely feeling like I would die if we broke up.
Wow.
And honestly, I think my last breakup, I was shaking, genuinely shaking with emotions. I felt like women do this thing, and again, it's a generalization. We plan this life in your head, and it was like, not only is like I'm no longer with this person, it was like, oh, I thought I was gonna live in Sheffield. I'm not gonna live there anymore. I'm not gonna have kids with this person. This person's not gonna be like this. Person's not gonna be my mother-in-law anymore. This is my whole life for the next 10 years. I had planned out with this individual had gone.
Despite the red flags, man.
Despite all the rubbish, my last relationship was terrible, turbulent, just horrible. We genuinely, I don't even know how I was with him for like 2 years. I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how. But it's the thing of learning from that, and also learning from our kind of short spent dating period as well. I just realized that I need to put this stuff aside and stop being so enamored with everybody and so bought in and jump in. Like, no, relax, enjoy yourself, enjoy the process, and when it gets serious, it gets serious. If it's not working, it's not working. Like, it's okay to leave that. And I think now we're a little bit more like, there's a bit more fear of loss, I think.
And this is something which I really didn't grow up having, fear of loss. So for me, it's been different. My emotion,
he's been more like me.
I've become like her. I've been very rational about things, and I've tried to keep emotions mostly at bay, and I didn't find it too difficult. But in this situation, I think
it's all gone now.
I think the more we've gone, I was telling her, I feel as if things are happening in reverse to what genuinely happens in terms of what society paints, in terms of infatuation, and then the love comes. I feel as if for me, the love started to come strongly, and then now it's like the more we go, the more infatuation is growing a little bit, mingled in with the love. So it's kind of like things were very rational in the beginning. Very rational, and it felt very mechanical and unnatural.
It wasn't quite. It wasn't nice.
It wasn't nice.
It was like we were friends, and it's very awkward. And it's only recently we've started like flirting with each other. Like genuinely, it's like it's very odd. But it's like the love came first because it came from the friendship, and then
yeah. So I felt as if that worked, right? I felt as if it just worked better.
Yeah.
And it's something which I think is a natural based on what you see in the movies and what the media pushes. But when you really think about it, I think it works. If your relationship starts from rationale, you feel these butterflies, and that's what clouding your judgment from the very beginning, it might be hard for you to then distinguish things and realize, what am I really feeling? Is this real? Is this not? Is this who she is? Is it not?
Trust me.
Okay, listen, man. You're giving us the bars all night, and I'm inviting you on the spot back to the platform. That's a yes. So we look forward to seeing you guys. We look forward to having you guys again, because I think you guys are able to break into some topics that I haven't addressed personally. I don't know if Kojo has, but I haven't. But
not like this.
Please come back and let's explore this. And it's important that you're speaking to people outside of my market. So thank you so much for your time, guys, and thank you for being open about your journey.
Thank you for having us. This was fun.
It was good. It was good.
I was really nervous, so it was quite fun.
There was nerves, people. There was nerves.
Yeah,
but it's good. You would never have known, man. Thank you so much for your time. And I had a couple more questions for you, but we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to go in part 2. These are important questions, you know.
Yeah.
Please.
Big boy tippers.
Yeah, for real. Thank you, guys. And everyone, thank you for joining the platform. We have more content available. Some of it you're going to have to subscribe to because it's quite heavy and deep. No less than this on the Mrriage Counsel UK. If you go to the Patreon channel, you can get it there. It's affordable. You're supporting a good movement. Please help and support. Thank you so much. Kojo. The man.
No, I appreciate you a lot, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for your time, bro.
Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll look off. See you later, guys.
God bless.
God bless, man.